Hi friends, welcome to episode 2 of the David Dotan Show. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how Disney royally fucked up. And for me to explain why, we're going to have to lay the foundation out, okay? So Disney's former CEO, Bob Iger, was the CEO from 2005 to 2020. Did a great job, very well respected. Purchased Marvel, Lucasfilm, 21st Century Fox, Pixar, expanded Disney into Asia. Did a great job. Now the executive board of Disney hired Bob Chapek as the new CEO, which by the way really upsets me, and let me explain why. Okay, Bob Chapek was the head of their parks and experiences. Okay, great, valuable employee for Disney. He builds great theme parks. Disneyland is great. Disney World is great, except get those gators out of the ponds. All right, he also led Disney Cruises. Also, I guess, great, except for all the kids pee in the pool, and I'm not going to put my finger in there. Okay, they should have hired a guy named Kevin Mayer, who is really their biggest asset, or was their biggest asset, and we'll get into that. Who's Kevin Mayer? He was the head of their direct-to-consumer. He built Disney+. He spearheaded the acquisition of Lucasfilm, and he spearheaded the acquisition of 21st Century Fox, because with the company this big, the CEO is not in the trenches for every one of those negotiations and meetings. They have managers who really are the ones pushing things. He led the acquisition of 21st Century Fox, and he led the acquisition of Lucasfilm. And I'm especially impressed with the acquisition of Lucasfilm because you know how hard it is to buy the rights of someone's name. There has to be a lot of trust there. And where would Disney be without Disney Plus right now? Okay, the revenue would be nowhere near where it is if Disney Plus wasn't pushed when Kevin Mayer pushed it out. Okay, now, for us to understand why Disney hired Bob Chapek, we have to take it to the revenue, okay? Direct to consumer, as you can see, is the lowest of the revenue. Disney did $69 billion in revenue. Direct to consumer is the lowest because they only launched Disney Plus in November of 2019. Parks and experiences is the highest, about $28 billion out of the $69 billion in revenue. But does that mean that the net revenue is more with parks than it is with direct to consumer? No, that's not the case. All right, gross revenue is much different than net revenue. And how much do you think the operational cost is to maintain the parks, maintain the rides, even the landscaping? Okay, direct to consumer is much more scalable. Okay, your cost as Disney Plus memberships go up is much less than opening new parks or building new cruise ships. But the executive team hired Bob Chapek. Why? Because they want to please the dumb investor. Okay? It would be a very difficult decision for them not to hire the new CEO, which led the most amount, the highest gross revenue for the company. Okay? So this wasn't a long-term play. This is a short-term play to keep the stock price high. Now let me make sense of this, okay? CEOs, board members, executive teams, they get paid a salary, but they mostly get paid in options and shares, okay? And they can vest these shares. Now, there's a rule as to how much they're allowed to vest, all right? They're not allowed to, for example, if a CEO's salary is $1 million a year and 250,000 shares, they can't just liquidate 250,000 shares in one day. They have a vesting schedule. So the executive team, who their job is one job, to keep the price of the stock as high as possible. They hired Bob Chapek because they believed that by hiring Kevin Mayer, who is the head of their lowest revenue stream, the stock price would drop rather than hiring Bob Chapek, who's the head of their highest revenue stream. Okay? Bad decision. The key to business is scalability. It's much easier to scale Disney Plus than it is to scale parks and experiences and build new cruise ships. Okay, so let's take a look at the Disney's executive team. All right, the people that made this decision. Okay, so one of the voting members, Bob Iger. No complaints about Bob. He knows what he's doing. Okay, Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook. Okay, do you think Sheryl Sandberg has time to dive into Disney's operations and really get to know Bob Chapek and Kevin Mayer and decide who really is the right CEO? She's taking opinions from others. Okay? Monica Lozano, head of LA Opinion, a largest Spanish newspaper in the United States. Alwyn Lewis, former CEO of Pot Valley Sandwiches. Fred Langhammer, former CEO of Estee Lauder. Judith Estrin, CEO of JLabs. John Chen, CEO of BlackBerry. BlackBerry's been making great decisions lately, haven't they? Susan Arnold, Operation Executive at Carlyle Group. They are an investment fund. Okay, now let me make this clear. They hired Bob Chapek for short-term gains. The long-term play was to hire Kevin Mayer because Kevin would have increased this part of their revenue and their net revenue would be much higher than Parks and Experiences. But again, by hiring Bob Chapek, they protect their largest revenue stream, which keeps the share price as high as possible so they can vest at the highest price possible. They don't really care about the long-term operation. They just want to vest at the highest price possible. Now, let's read this. New York Times article. And now Mr. Iger has effectively returned to running the company after a few weeks of letting Chapek take charge. Mr. Iger smoothly reasserted control. Blue Jeans Video, called by Blue Jeans Video, Disney does not use Zoom for its meeting for security reasons. Okay? Whatever that means at the end doesn't matter. But what the key here is Bob Chapek was the CEO for 2 weeks and they brought Iger back. All right? Yes, I understand you're saying, Dave, well, listen, we got the virus going on. All right? There's a lot of things going on. I understand why they brought Iger back because, he needs to settle things. Do you think Bob Iger has dealt with this before? You think he's dealt with the massive virus before? Bob Iger is as experienced in this situation as Bob Chapek. They brought Iger back because Chapek is good at finding roller coasters and building parks and building cruise ships. He's not the best guy for the job. Again, to keep that stock price as high as possible. And now Mr. Iger has effectively returned to running the company. Zero trust in the new CEO. Now, this is the difference between business and sports, okay? In sports, let's say, the Last Dance documentary is just out. So let's talk about the Chicago Bulls, okay? The Chicago Bulls, in their dynasty, the best player they had and the best player in the league was Michael Jordan. They have the rights to Michael Jordan, meaning if some other team hypothetically wanted to take Michael Jordan, the Bulls would get something in return, an asset, more players, maybe some money, maybe future, it doesn't matter. They would get something in return. A trade is made, an asset for an asset. In business, if you don't protect your asset, you will lose it for nothing. TikTok hires Kevin Mayer as their new CEO. What does Disney get in return? Nothing. They lost their biggest asset because their biggest concern was to keep their stock price high by hiring the CEO of their largest gross revenue stream, not net revenue stream. So, in hockey, I used to be a semi-professional hockey player, and we had this thing when there was a mistake made or a guy was late for practice, they would say, hey, take a lap, all right? It would be a cardio thing, take a lap. Now, assuming that the executive board doesn't know how to skate, the fact that I don't have an ice rink available for them, I would like to invite the executive board to come over to my house, take a lap on my F1 simulator. Bad decision. Disney, you royally fucked up and you lost your best asset.